Hey there, Start here. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up the Depths of Chaos. I'm gonna do my Blessing category units, which is the last one I have to do because we've got tons and tons of content coming up this week. I wanna make sure I get this out of the way so that I have plenty of time. Let's take a look at what they got in the news real quick. And, wait, what? Nothing? Really? Nothing? Not even a unit? We don't even have a banner to pull on? What is this? They're just giving away this what is this? World of the Vision? War of the Visions, whatever it is. That other game that's draining all the resources from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius? Okay. We got like a vision card. Cool. Live stream. Yeah. Okay, so, another dead week coming up, but, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this anyways, because, man, I swear, this, I don't know what Gumi's doing. I have a theory as to why things are so dead, and also why we're not getting, like, a Dark Visions or a Vision World until the end of May. I have a theory, but, I'll hold off on ranting about it here. Maybe I'll rant at the end. So if you want to skip to the end and hear my theory, I always put timestamps in my videos. Feel free to skip to the end, and I'll share my theory as to why, why things have just been so dead. Obviously there's end of service, that whole whatever. But yeah, no, I'll discuss it at the end. Let's get right to the reason why I'm doing this video, which is to do a Blessing of the Crystals category clear against Dark Phycodurus, which is the aquatic boss, and Dark Medusa, which is a demon boss. Those are the only two I have left to do, the only ones I haven't done videos on. And so let's, I'm going to start with the aquatic boss. Now, I will say my Blessing of the Crystals units are even worse than my Gathering team. My Gathering team was basically carried by my Lock, because he's just a very strong Gathering unit. My Blessing category units are not so good, mostly because the only Blessing category damage dealers I have are an EX1 Noctis. Okay, as you can see, here's my team, an EX1 Noctis, and I do have an Esper of Destruction Fina, also at EX1. Yeah, I don't have a Richt. I'm probably one of the few people playing this game that don't have a Richt. I feel like a lot of people pulled for him, and for good reason. He was a really, still is, a really good unit, especially in Clash of Wills. Very strong, light unit, and he is, of course, a Blessing of the Crystals unit, as is everyone from the Fundamental Force story, Fundamental Forces story, from Elena's little storyline. And so, yeah, this is the best Blessing of the Crystals team that I have to take on these trials. What that means is that for this one in particular, I actually need to bring a friend unit, because Dark Phycodurus, its little gimmick is it does Mighty Guard at the end of turn 1, which lasts until turn 5. So you basically just have to do a big burst on turn 5 and kill it in one go. And I can't actually kill the boss with these units on turn 5 in one burst. So I need to bring a friend. Luckily, Ricts are usually pretty common on the friends list. Not that one, obviously, because it is not built at all for it. There's one. And honestly, it just has to have decent stats on it. The build is honestly pretty irrelevant. We'll take a look and see what they have. As long as, it's like missing a hat. It's like, I don't know. It's like, probably doesn't even have the right killer. Yeah, only 200 aquatic. But honestly, that's fine. All right, that's totally fine. I'm glad it does have ailment resist. That's actually really nice. But we don't need it against Phycodurus. We will need it against the demon, but I can actually do Medusa without a friend. But this is the one that I actually needed to bring a friend so I can get that extra damage to make sure we kill it on turn 5. All right, so here's the team that we're going to use. The only thing that's going to change between the two trials is Princess Sarah. I will switch her out when we go against Medusa and put in Fina the Return in her place, because basically what this unit slot is your buffer and killer. Your killer buffer, your stat buffer, LB damage buffer. So Sarah handles your Aquan killers, your full buff, LB damage buff, all that stuff, right? So that's what she's doing here. And then when we go to Medusa, I'll put Fina the Return in for the demon killer and the stat buff, all right? Let's take a quick look at the gear. Noctis in his normal form is just like whatever. It's basically the exact same build in both forms, but we're really just using his Brave Shifted LB. He doesn't have his 150 amp though. Okay, so that's something to consider. And he doesn't have the 200% Omni Killer. He only has 100% Omni Killer when he's EX1, so you have to do a little extra building for killers. So in this one, I of course gave him Kokuryu, Esper for the Aquan Killer, and then just topped it up with a little extra Aquan Killer Plus there. This will be the exact same build between both fights, by the way. All I'm going to do is switch the Esper when we go over to the Demon, because Indomitable Warrior already comes with 100% Demon Killer. So then just switching him over to Diabolos, boom, he's got full killers ready to go. So I gave him some chain speed. Medine Synergy is 100% chain speed. That of course comes from Deity of War Tyvis. You could also use like Tifa's STMR or Oliveira's STMR. And then Ancient Dual Blade Arts, again, that comes from the level 3 in the Sealed Tower. So that's very useful on TDW units. And then I gave him this. This is from an EX3 Frosty. I just got my Frosty and my Hio to EX3 finally, from putting them in the Shard Dungeon, and I just gave this to him because it's the best card that I have for my Noctis. If your Noctis is EX2, you should be able to wipe the floor with this boss on turn 5, no problem. Alright, but mine's EX1, so I needed to give him a little extra oomph to make sure he gets across the finish line. And so here we go, we've got full-on aquatic killers and LB damage. He is good to go. Yeah, we don't need status ailments on this one, so we don't have to worry about it. Alright, Fina. Alright, this is just the build that I have for her. Ayaka's dress is nice because it comes with, 150 mag TDH, which is useful for helping her build. Heart of Babel is good for the LB damage. Then obviously Magistrate's Ring because she needs chain cap boost. Obviously I used STMR Moogles on both her and my Noctis. I'm swimming in STMR Moogles, like I'm looking for reasons to use them because I have so many of them. You may not be quite as fortunate to be able to just, willy-nilly use an STMR Moogle, but hopefully you have at least one you can use. I would say if you had to pick between these two, Noctis getting the STMR Moogle is probably the better choice. But yeah. Cryo Scrunchy for ailment resist, and then yeah, just a bit of Aquan Killer there. She has Leviathan Esper. Obviously, she is a pure magic damage dealer unit, so you need to make sure you're using magic killers. So she has 300% magic aquatic, full LB damage. You see, I gave her this vision card. It's just the best vision card I have for her. Put whatever vision card you have on her that is the best you have that works for her. Okay, and she is good to go. So Elena is, just sort of built for tanking in her normal form. I did build her for a little bit of damage in her Brave Shift form, gave her some killers and whatnot. She's not going to be dealing, a whole heap of damage, but she's got 275 aquatic killer, full LB damage, so, she'll do something. This is the free card you get by pulling an NV unit. Of course, you have to get lucky enough to have pulled it. Hopefully you've got at least one by now. But yeah, that works on her because she's a nice unit. And there we go. Sarah, just building her, a little bit of bulk, a little bit of spirit, put on her, again, like I said, I'm looking for excuses to use STMR Moogle, so I Moogled her STMR. You don't need to. Definitely not for Sarah. Definitely don't waste a Moogle on her, unless you're like me and you have them lying around. Holy Wand. that comes from the Hidden Chamber of Arms. I Love Chocobos is for ailment resist. And then, yeah, just some bulk, power cut for bulk, and that's it. So Onion Knight, he is our breaker. He is also going to chain with Fina, because he does Mirror of Equity on his LB. So that will chain with Fina, because her LB is also Mirror of Equity, if we take a look. Both her normal LB and her SLB are both Mirror of Equity chains, so we need to have a chainer, and that's what Onion Knight's doing here. Also, in his Bracer form, he does an 89% defense and spirit break, so he is also going to be our breaker for this party. I think it does take some awakenings, maybe. Yeah, I think you have to maybe use some crowns. I can't remember. Yeah, I think you have to use crowns on this ability here in order to get that upgrade to his LB, but it's totally worth it for the 89% breaks if you're, struggling and you need a unit. You may notice his attack stat is like stupidly high. That's because if you remember, they did like an equipment dungeon for the the Final Fantasy III units. And, they got all these upgrades. See, like Onion Sword, Onion Helm, Onion Boots, Onion Armor. They all now come with, like, all these passive, like, 500 flat attack. So, like, all of these have a bunch of flat attack on them now, and so that's why his attack stat's so high. He still is not a very good damage dealer. Like, he's not going to be dealing relevant damage. I didn't even build him for killers, didn't bother with it. It's just, it is what it is. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this fight. This one's kind of boring because it's literally just sitting around and waiting until turn 5, and then we just do a burst. It's a very boring fight, so let's just get to it. Hopefully I can make it quick and just kind of like skip through all the turns and just get straight to turn 5. Okay. Alright, so Elena's just going to, she's going to tank for us. So she'll do her cover, Shining Provocation, Shelga. Alright. Fina can do Purifying Rain to remove the imperils. Just make sure we don't take too much damage. Rippling Grace for the stat resist buff. Alright, always kind of nice. And then Sparkling Charge just for a little full buff. Noctis, he doesn't need to do anything this turn. I think he can just guard. Sarah can do Enlightka to go ahead and imbue everybody. Light Breath just does like a barrier every turn. She can fill her LB. Merciful Sunbeam just to have something to do. Onion Knight is not going to use his LB on this turn because it only lasts 3 turns. So instead he'll just do Ragnarok and Masamune. And yeah, Richt can just guard. So Richt and Noctis and Fina are going to guard for the rest of the fight until turn 4, where we do a setup and then burst on turn 5. Okay, Elena on this turn we can do Crystal Echo for the stat field. She can go and do Shining Provocation again, why not? And then we'll do Protectica for the physical damage. Now we can do Whirlwind Thrust for the breaks, because as you can see there was an MP drain there, so Onion Knight can't do anything anyways. And then yeah, these guys are just gonna guard. Sarah on this turn can go ahead and use her LB. Richt can just guard. Okay, so you see the damage is very minimal. Alright, on this turn, Sarah needs to use Unstoppable Protection, because the boss will do Stop next turn. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are covered for that next turn. Alright, Onion Knight on this turn is just going to do, I'll tell you what, we'll do Mirage for the party, level up, and then, yeah, fill LB. We want to make sure he has a full LB for the burst on turn 5. Okay. And yeah, these guys are just going to guard one more time. We'll set up next turn for the burst. Elena can do her LB to put the mod buff on her Brave Shifted LB, which we will use on turn 5. Okay. Everyone's looking good there. So now, Sarah is going to do Aquan Killer on Noctis, Aquan Killer on the friend Richt. We'll do level up, and Mirage. All right, Noctis will now do. He'll do Fill LB. Actually, sorry, we need to shift first. What am I thinking? All right, he'll do Fill LB. I think. No, we're not. I don't think we need to do that, do we? I guess we do need a Light Imperil, don't we? Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And then it ends now for the mod boost to LB. And then we'll do Purifying Rain again to remove any imperils that we might have. We'll do Sparkling Aura. We'll do that on the friend Richt for the higher attack buff. And then we'll do Lend Us Your Strength Leviathan, because this does the mod boost and the mag store. So make sure that's the last thing that you do. Okay. Elena can now shift. Alright, she can do True Luminous to go ahead and imbue herself, Grace of Procyon, and Blessing of Sirius to fill up her LB. Richt, all he needs to do here is just Hope and Trusted, because that does his 150 amp. Okay. Right, we've already been imbued by Sarah using Enlighten, so we're all good there. Alright, Sarah can now do her SLB, which comes with a slightly higher... Alright, which comes with the slightly higher Aquan Killer for everybody, so that's nice. Alright, Noctis. So Noctis is triple Bolting Strike. I'm just double checking. I mean, I know it is, but just to show you guys, triple Bolting Strike. So is Elena, so her Brave Shifted LB is also triple Bolting Strike, so they will chain together. Fina and Onion Knight will bring Onion Knight back to normal, so they can chain together. And Richt is also triple Bolting Strike. His Brave Shifted LB, that's the one we want. If it'll show you, come on. Is also triple Bolting Strike, so he will chain with Noctis and Elena. So I'm actually going to send. I'm going to send Onion Knight and Fina first, let them ramp up the chain a little bit for our TDW units, and then, yeah, then we'll send everybody else. Okay? So let's do it. And there you go. All right. And we'll probably see, yeah. So I think the boss has like 5 billion, so we did a lot of overkill there. But you'll see that Richt, when you see the damage spread, you'll see that Richt was pretty much necessary to carry the fight across the finish line. Yeah, the difference between like an EX1 and an EX2 Noctis and Fina is like, it's a huge chasm. Yeah, I mean, look, so, you know, Richt is over here basically doing as much damage as both Noctis and Fina combined. So yeah, if we didn't have Richt, we would not have killed the boss on turn 5. So had to bring a friend for that one. Now, with that being said, if your Noctis and or Fina were EX2, you would have had access to a 150 amp, and you would have probably been able to kill the boss without a friend unit. But there you go. That's how I got it done. Okay, so now let's go on to Medusa. So this is the demon boss. This one I don't need a friend for, okay, because we don't have to just do one big burst on turn 5. I'm gonna swap. So these are all my Blessing of the Crystals units. Where did Fina go? Fina's in here, right? Wait, am I looking at the right category? What category am I looking at? Yeah, Blessing of the Crystals. There she is. Okay. Yep, she was hiding from me. Okay. And her build here is, yeah, basically, again, just bulk, spirit, ailment resists. The one you want to make sure you have here is you want to make sure you have stone resist. Everybody needs to have petrify resist, or else you will get petrified by this boss on turn 2. Okay. So like I said, nothing else is going to change except for some espers. So I'm going to do Diabolos here, and then what was I going to do for? I think I was just going to give her Azura, and then does she need more demon? I guess she does. Oh yeah. So I swapped this out for Force Mysterion. Okay, so there's one difference. Again, because she's only EX1, she doesn't have the 200% Omni killer. So I need that extra 100% killer to get us to 300%. All right, if yours is EX2, obviously you don't need that. But here we go. All right, everything else stays the same. We're now set up for some demon killers, and yep, I think we should be good to go. All right, let's do it. So with this boss, the reason why we don't need a friend is because we can actually do 2 bursts. We'll do like a mini burst, and then our big burst on turn 5. Because my Fina is EX1, her SLB comes up on turn 5. So yeah, that's just how it is, how it goes. Okay, what we are gonna do here is we're not gonna do Delightful Glow yet, because that has the killers on it. And they only last for 4 turns, so we're going to need those for later. I will do Brilliant Veil. I'll do Protectica and Barrier on this turn. Okay. So Noctis. On this turn. What we'll do is we'll do Fill LB. And we'll do, what is this? Is this one doing Imperil? Yeah. Well, actually, I'll do this one for the bigger Imperil. I'm trying to remember what all these moves do. This is like, I haven't used Noctis much. I like just pulled him recently. And then, yeah, I guess we'll just hit the boss with something. I don't know. All right, we can do Enlightka here. Actually, we don't need to do that, do we? No. We can do Purifying Rain to remove the Imperils. We can do Sparkling Charge and Rippling Grace. Okay. Okay. What does she need to do? She just needs to do cover. And then, yeah, Provoke and Shelga. Alright, Onion Knight is going to just do Ragnarok. Because this boss doesn't do like any physical attacks, so we don't have to worry about Mirage. Actually, I think Fina, what we're going to do with Fina, let's go and do her LB to start. Alright, so we're doing Enlightka. So we will come back, we're going to come back and imbue with the other Fina. We'll do, we are going to do Fill LB, Purifying Rain, and Rippling Grace. That's what we'll do. Okay. So there she attracted the single target charm, which she immunes. Okay, so what we're going to do now is Yeah, we'll just do some chaining here, because we're gonna do a mini burst next turn. All right. Obviously, we don't want to do our full burst with like all of our mod boosts and everything, because if we did that, this would run out. Yeah. So we don't want to do that yet. What we can do. Did he get bolting strike chains? Yeah, no, they didn't give him bolting strike, did they? No, that would have been too easy. Neither form gets it. Oh, he does. No, I remember trying to chain with that Chocobo's Wrath. It does not work. But he does have Mirror of Equity, so he can chain with Fina on that, doing Shining Blow. And we can use True Noctis's Point Blank Warp Strike on this turn, using its Quincast. So we want to use, yeah, I'm gonna, actually, yeah, we can go ahead and use that now, because that'll still be active on turn 5. Morale of the Warrior, that adds a big mod boost to that effect. We'll do, I don't think any of these are demon killers. It's Reaper, Human, and Fairy, I think. So he doesn't have any self, but that's okay. We're gonna do our demon killer next turn anyways. We can do Light of the Mystic, I think, because that also does a mod boost. Yep. Vigor of the Just, and Point Blank Warp Strike. So, you know, it's not going to do a whole heap of damage, but it's something. And we could actually even do some chaining here with Elena. All right. Now, Fina on this turn needs to do Softening Protection. All right, because the boss has reduced. Actually, did we remove that? We might have removed. No, we have not removed the resistance to stone. So she needs to do Softening Protection to boost our stone resistance, or else we will get petrified on this turn. Okay. All right, so we'll just do a little mini burst here. Yeah, it's not very much, you know. An EX1 Noctis is not very strong. But next turn we're going to do an LB. Okay. And so, you know, this might do a little more damage. I don't know. We'll find out. And what I'm going to do here is, what I need to do is breaks. Fina can now do Delightful Glow. I'm not going to assume yours is EX3. All right. I'm going to do Elemental Power Light, and I'm going to do it on Noctis. All right, so that he has the 100% amp on turn 5 for the kill turn. And then we'll just do a barrier. Okay. All right, so I'll send Onion Knight for the breaks. Elena is going to chain with Fina, because her LB is Mirror of Equity. Oh, no, sorry. She's going to do Bolting Strike to chain with Noctis. And then we're going to just weave Fina in there. It should work. All right, it should work weaving the Mirror of Equity in with 2 Bolting Strike chainers. I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Okay, there we go. So we're now in very good shape to kill on turn 5. All right, Fina can do her SLB on this turn, assuming yours is EX2. All right, Onion Knight is just going to do Fill LB. Where's his Fill LB? There we go, so that he's ready for next turn. Fina can do Purifying Rain, Rippling Grace, and Lend Us Your Strength Leviathan. Oh wait, no, sorry, she's got that other one. Let's do Purifying Rain. Actually, we don't need it because we've got Fina's SLB. Never mind. All right, we're just going to do Purifying Rain, Rippling Grace, and Lend Us Your Strength Leviathan so that she's ready for next turn. All right, Noctis. We'll do It Ends Now This does the mod boost to his LB. It does not fill his LB, however, so that's where we're going to need Elena to help him fill his LB. I don't think he has anything that fills his LB, does he? Let me just double check. I don't think he does. I don't think he has like a move that fills his LB. He has LB fill rate, but it doesn't fill his LB. Yeah, I don't think that does any LB fill. Just double checking here. Come on. No. Yeah, so he needs help filling his LB. I'm just gonna do the mod boost here. So that's what Elena is here for. Alright, triple bar Blizaja. Alright, and she'll obviously need to do another round of bar Blizaja, but we can now take this opportunity to put up the stat field and then do another double bar Blizaja. Okay. Alright, and Fina can do triple bolting strike with Noctis. Okay. Onion Knight shifts to chain with Fina's SLB. Okay, we should be good to go. And just like before, I'm going to do Onion Knight and Fina first. Because Noctis is a true dual wield unit, you want to ramp up the chain for him so that he is dealing maximum damage. He also has the 100% amp, so you want to make sure you're maximizing his damage here on this last burst. So let's do it. Boom. All right. There we go. Wow, we actually did enough there to kill the boss from 100%. Not that, you know, that could have been a high roll for all I know. I don't think I've done that high in my previous test runs, albeit I haven't done that many test runs, as you could probably tell because I was like switching moves so often. But wow, yeah, there's Noctis. Noctis basically carried that fight. You know, Fina just kind of bringing up the rear. Now, of course, Noctis did get the 100% amp, but he's also just a stronger overall unit. And so, you know, there you go. It is what it is, right? So yep, that's how I was able to get my blessing category units done. And I am officially finished with the Depths of Chaos. Now, there is no rush on doing these. Gumi said that these will become permanent dungeons in the Nemesis, over on the Nemesis tab, after the end of the, after the end of the event period. So there's absolutely no rush to do these. So if you're like stressing, it's like, oh man, I don't have the units, I can't do it right now. Don't worry. If all you want is the Lapis, like the rewards for these, for doing the teams, is just a few EX tickets, which honestly are, they mostly give us crap anyways. Like, really the biggest draw is the Lapis, right? You're gonna go in, you get your 100 Lapis for completing the quest. You also get a bonus 100 Lapis for doing it the first time, so it's 200 Lapis for each of these. So, there's 1,200 Lapis by doing the 6 bosses. You also get the 3,000 Lapis by doing the boss rush. But honestly, if all you want is the Lapis, just take your strongest team, all right? Take your strongest units and just go out, go in and kill all these bosses on the first turn, right? And just collect your Lapis. I do like this sort of idea, though, where, like, there are some extra rewards you can get, that for doing different teams, because it just kind of it forces you to kind of mix things up a little bit and kind of play around with the units that maybe you wouldn't normally use. It would have been nice if the rewards were a little bit better for using all these different teams. Like, a few EX tickets seems like pretty, I'll just come out and say it, pretty shitty rewards. Like, I wish the rewards had been a little bit better. Would have, like, inspired me more to, like, want to actually do all of these missions, but they're really not that important. So, but yeah. Now, I did say at the beginning of the video, I would explain my theory as to why we're getting, like, 0 content. I will say a big part of it is obviously like budget cuts. Like that's something that has been going on for a long time. That's like always, it's like, it's like cosmic background radiation, right? It's always there. Clearly this game is old. Budgets are getting cut. They're, downsizing. They're getting rid of language support. That's obvious, right? That's the obvious thing. What isn't obvious is why we suddenly have this like huge just empty void for these last few months. Like, when was the last Dark Visions? February? Was it in February? I think. And we're not getting another Dark Visions or Vision World until May, and we're missing an incredible amount of content that was supposed to come from the JP side. And my theory is that Gumi spent so much time and resources on putting together the mania mode that they incorporated into Clash of Wills, that they put so much developer time, so much resources into that they actually all the resources went into that and got taken away from sort of having all of this content ready and translated and ported and ready to port over on time. Because the way I assume development works, and I could be totally wrong, if anyone's a game developer, please feel free to comment in the comments to correct me, but my assumption is that they're not developing this stuff on the fly. Any good business would have things ready to go months in advance, right? So, they probably have at least like 2 or 3 months of cushion of stuff that's already developed, already ported, already ready to come in. It just needs to be, bug tested before it's released on maintenance. So it's like they have these little packages of things that are developed. My assumption is that so many resources were pulled from sort of getting those packages prepared months in advance for content that should be coming out now. Developers were pulled from that to work on the quote-unquote upgrade to Clash of Wills with the Mania mode. And so now what we're seeing is we're seeing how we're basically seeing the result of not keeping up with that 2 to 3 month cushion of development, keeping these development packages, these maintenance packages sort of prepared months in advance. I think that's what we're probably seeing now, because resources were pulled away from that to work on Mania mode, which really sucks because Mania mode was not well received, widely panned. Gumi probably felt really stung by that, and the developers too. And for all I know, developers may have some developers may have quit and said, you know what, look, we worked really hard on this and it got a really shitty reception, peace out, and may have left Gumi in the lurch, which fair enough. I mean, it was not I mean, I wouldn't blame them at all. But yeah, I think Gumi is now playing some catch up, and I honestly don't think we're going to see any of the events, anything that's been skipped between now and when the next DV is supposed to launch at the end of May. I don't think we're going to see it. We're not. I would be super surprised if we saw it. I think Gumi is now spending this time catching up and sort of building up that cushion again, and so that starting at the end of May, we'll hopefully start seeing more regular content and hopefully less skipped content. The question is it going to start? Where will we be at that point, and at what point in sort of the JP cycle will we be? We already know that Cloud has basically ruined every NV Plus unit from here until when he comes out, because he's just so broken. In my opinion, I think Gumi should just, for the next anniversary, they should release Cloud and skip everything between now and him. Because I mean, you see, I've got almost 220,000 lapis. I haven't spent lapis on anything since Christmas. I pulled barrel on an ad summon and spent like 20k lapis just to pick up some shards. That was the last time I spent lapis in this game. I have no reason to pull for anything. Yeah, I don't know. That's my theory. That's my theory, is that Gumi lost their cushion of development packages in advance that they probably normally would have. And this sort of gap in content, my guess is that gap is sort of the usual cushion that they have, being like 3 months in advance of having this stuff sort of prepared. Because we already know that JP is about 5 or 6 months ahead of us in the schedule. So as soon as that content comes out in JP, they've probably got it in their development pipeline, and they're already starting to work on that so that they can have that stuff sort of prepared and ready for when it comes to global. But because they took so much development time away from it to work on Cow Another, they've lost that cushion. Again, just my theory. Could be totally wrong. I have no idea. If you have a theory, feel free to share it in the comments below. Would love to hear it. Sorry for rambling on. This video went way too long. Thank you. If you've been sticking around, thank you so much for following me. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in like 2 weeks. I guess we have the live stream coming out next week, and they're probably going to announce the next global exclusive unit in Clash of Wills. So I'll do a prepping for Clash of Wills video next week. But yeah, I've got nothing to do until next week, so I'll see you in 7 days. All right. Thank you guys for following me, and I'll see you on the other side.